Alright, here's my next video, and as you can guess, it's a gun video. Oh wow, interesting. Yeah, so this is more like a video on customer service and parts and stuff like that we're going to go through. So I'll kind of give you an explanation of, you know, this gun, a little history on it and whatnot. So we're gonna travel back in time to 1991. As a young man, and I was in the process. I had just finished mechanic school, and I wanted to become a mechanic. I then said, you know what, I also want to do gunsmithing. I like to tinker with things, and figured, well, you know, I could do a little gunsmithing or something like that. It'd be kind of cool. So I went around to the pawn shops in my local area, because, you know, we didn't have the internet, at least not to the capacity that it is today. I don't really think I don't remember ever having it. But anyway, 56K, 24K or something like that at the time. But I was driving around these pawn shops, and I was asking these guys, hey, do you have any guns that don't work? You know, that if we don't shoot or whatever, for whatever reason. They're like, oh yeah, we got tons of them. So I started buying a whole bunch of them up to learn how to work on guns, and this happened to be one of them. I paid $5 for it, and it was in the same state it is today. If that tells you anything. But I did buy a lot of Colts and Smith & Wessons and fixed them up, and went through some distance learning courses just for fun. And, you know, after a while I realized that, you know, at that time we were going through a lot of turmoil with guns and our ability to actually own them. So I kind of sort of said, well, I'm not really sure there's any future in this, because if they take our rights away, we're, you know, what's the point? But they didn't, they couldn't, and I know that now. But back then I was young and 21 years old and really didn't know a whole lot, but I knew I liked them. So anyway, I've had this gun. It's followed me around since 1991, and never did anything with it. But anyway, it is one of the old Ring of Fire guns, a Jennings. There you go, Brico Arms, Irving, California, and this is one of the original Saturday Night Special kind of guns. You know, everybody's talked about how horrible they are, but I don't know that to be true, because I never really messed with it. But this is pretty rough. It's in pretty rough condition. Like I said, I bought it like this in '91. Absolutely no parts in the slide. So I'm really unsure what exactly this person that owned it before me was doing. I don't know. But the slide seems to be in really good condition for the age. And it's sloshed around in my gunsmithing toolbox too, so probably some damage there. And it, like I said, it's not the greatest condition, but it's not horrible. But there you go. No firing pin, no anything. Just totally gone, wiped out. And I called Jimenez, which is the owner. Paul Jimenez bought Jennings out. What happened was California kept putting a whole lot of stipulations on what they can do and what they can't do, what they had to do. And so they kept jumping through the hoops to meet those criteria that California put forth, and they just got tired of it. Well, then Paul Jimenez was like, well, hell, you know, I can probably do something with that. But I believe Jennings Arms got sued a lot too, and eventually they were just like, we're getting out of it. So Jennings Company Brico actually surrendered and sold to Paul Jimenez, and Paul Jimenez went through the same rigmarole with California. After a while, they were like, you know what, we've strengthened the metal, which is the same kind of metal that High Point's made out of. That pot metal, Mazkek, or I forgot what they called it, but anyway, it's just a kind of a pot metal, and but they strengthened it, Jimenez. So I was like, well, it's the same kind of gun. So about a week ago, or 2 weeks ago actually, I called him up and I talked to a guy there, super nice guy, and I don't want to mention his name because I don't want anybody calling him up and ramming him down, but super wonderful guy. And he said, hey, you know, send me your gun, and I'll go through the entire thing for $35, and I'll just do it all for you and make sure the frame is tight and the slide and everything else, and get it done. And because all of the parts, all of the internal parts will in fact fit on this gun. All the internals, with the exception of the slide and the frame. They do not interchange with these older Jennings, but the safeties do, you know, trigger, all this stuff does. Even the parts in here are supposed to interchange. Now, Jimenez Arms did improve a lot of stuff on these kind of guns. They put in a striker. Oh my God, I can't even think right now. But it pokes out a little bit and lets you know the striker's ready to hit. They also have a little dot here that pops up when it's loaded, a little load indicator. Striker indicator. There you go, indicator, duh. And but other than that, it's pretty much all the same, really. According to the guys at Jimenez Arms, everything fits. It's all the same stuff. So I said, okay, I'll send it to you. And then I realized how much the shipping was going to be, about $100 to ship it to them, and then $35, and then $15 to ship it back to me. So the guy at Jimenez Arms says, well, just go to your local dealer, whoever you deal with, and maybe they'll give you a deal and they'll ship it for you. So I did, and the guy over there, he said, oh, it's going to be about a month or so before I ship it out. And I was like, well, they didn't want to do it, and I get it. I mean, they're not going to make any money on it, so what's the point? And they're in business to make money, so I was fine with that. I said, okay. So I called Jimenez Arms again, talked to the guy that I talked to, my connection, and he says, well, I said, you know what, the gun's only, it's a $150 gun. I mean, let's be honest with you. Maybe even this one, being that it's a Jennings, an original Jennings, is probably only worth about $80 if you're lucky. So I said, well, I don't know if I want to spend the shipping. It's just too much. I said, look, just do me a favor, because I know on your website you guys have a list of parts that I can purchase. So do me a favor and just send me a book or a manual on how to tear this thing down, and I'll just do it myself in my house. I'm pretty good with guns. I'm not a massive expert, but I do enjoy tearing them down and looking at the pieces and putting them back together and all that good stuff. I love doing that. So the guy said, yeah, sure, I'll send you something. So about a week later, I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and this is what he sent me. Let me get it out. So I get this box from Jimenez Arms, and lo and behold, I start pulling stuff out of it. And put this to the side. But he sent me a couple of books. He sent me the Jimenez Arms the newest Jimenez Arms manual. I said, oh my God, it's awesome. Sent me this, and here it is, right, first page. There you go. And it comes with, like, again, one-handed bandit here, the one-handed bandit. There you go, all the parts, an exploded view. Maybe not an instructional video or instructional booklet, but good enough for me. I'll figure it out, no problem. And how much all the little parts cost, and they're relatively cheap. Cheap little gun, cheap parts. I said, okay, cool. And like I said, I'm not using this for combat or anything. I just want to get it fixed, get it running, and put it in my gun safe and probably never use it again. But it's still kind of cool to have an original Jennings. And then he turns around and he also sends me this, the original Jennings instruction manual. Now I know some of you guys are going, oh, so, but I think it's kind of cool of him. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do anything, and he did this. I said, oh, well, there it is right there. Again, magic. First page with all the part listing. Now, I haven't really checked to see if the parts are the same, the cost or anything else, but I'm sure they're probably not. And this probably has a lot less parts than the new one has, because you can see all the new stuff on the other one. You know, if you put them side by side. Matter of fact, what the hell? Let's do that. So y'all can push pause or whatever. Let me see here. One hand bandit strikes again. Hold on. There we go. So that's the new one. And there's the old one. Boxing away. Because I like making things difficult. Trigger assembly not available. They don't have one on this one. The slide's $30. The slide's $40. So it's $10 more today than it was back then. Ejector $5. Ejector $5. So that's pretty much the same, more or less. I thought that was really cool of him. I said, man, this guy's awesome, man. Jennings, you know, Jimenez Arms, you know, supporting their parts. I thought that was really cool of him. I was very grateful for these two items to go with this gun. I said, you know what? That's customer service right there. I said, that's awesome of them. I can really get started to fix this gun. And then I said, man, why is this thing so big? I mean, why such a big box for this? And then all of a sudden I realized this guy sent me every single part. All of these little parts that go into the gun. Look at this. Everything. Look at right here. Look at this. Ejector right there. Bam. Look at this. Extractor. He actually wrote everything down for me. Look at this. The pin, trigger pin, the trigger assembly, the trigger that goes with it, the spring, the firing pin spring, or the firing pin spring. Look at this. Sear. He sent all of the parts for free. He did not charge me. He has not asked for money since. Nothing. The only thing I got was a small little letter that says, I hope this helps. If you need anything else, let me know. Look at this. Every single part. Jimenez arms. American made gun. I'm not saying top quality, not the great of the great, but you know what? In my mind, look at this. New grips. In my mind, you know what? When you do something like this for your customer, you got me for life. This is, look at this, the ammo you should shoot in it. It even tells you exactly what to shoot. They are not a plus P ammo. Just regular ammo, no problem. Look at that. That's the load you can shoot in this gun. I mean, he's got more stuff in this thing. I didn't even notice it. Look at this. This is the grips, and there's some other parts in here too. Maybe the nuts or the screws. But I mean, he didn't have to do all this. Every single internal part that you could possibly want to completely restore, rebuild, fix everything. I think the only thing he didn't give me was a slide, the frame, and the barrel. Everything else is here. Look at this. Everything. I am wanting for nothing. All the parts are here. And that was just me calling and saying, hey, I want to restore this. I want to get it running. I want to have fun with it, and I want it to be in my collection. It's an American-made part. Yeah, and I understand it's just a Jennings, but quite frankly, it's American-made. If you shoot the right type of ammo in it, you should have no problems at all. It should be 100%. It comes with this original Jennings, which he did not have to do. He sent me a new one, which he didn't have to do. He sent me information on what to shoot, which he did not have to do. And he sent me every single part, which he most definitely did not have to do. This, to me, is massive customer service. You cannot get anything better than that. That is awesome. I'm going to put this together, guys. When the next video I'll have is me having it together, and hopefully 100%, and hopefully at the range. Remember, guys, if you own a business, treat your people right. Treat your customers right. And if you're a customer, treat the guys you're buying stuff from, treat them good too. So when we all treat each other well, we all treat each other well. Thanks.